Well, this is the first full day of protests here at the G7 summit in Cornwall. It all began on the other side of the coast, not here in St Ives, but over in Falmouth, where there was a youth climate strike. It was the US President and UK Prime Minister in blimp form that started protests in Falmouth. Young campaigners gathered on the beach to send their message.
It's just absolutely crucial that climate is on the agenda for this G7, not just because of the pivotal moment in which we're in with the climate crisis and also leading up to COP26, but also because the countries that are here have historic responsibility to act on the climate. And a lot of countries who won't be at this G7 are already experiencing the impacts of that firsthand right now.
That's the picture in Falmouth. Here in St Ives, Extinction Rebellion have been holding their first major protest. It is climate that is top of the agenda. More than 500 protesters marched through St Ives.
To be frank, I feel we just need to come to our senses. You know, there's a lot of science, but actually if we come to our senses, there are places I can't breathe because of exhaust fumes.
I want them to listen to what we're saying, and rather than just talking about things, making a few policies and creating sound bites, they need to take action.
Well, the protest will continue right throughout the weekend. They are sending a clear message to the G7 leaders that it can't just now be about talk, it's got to be about action, with climate change top of the agenda at the summit and amongst these protesters.
And that's it for now from Cornwall. Plenty more throughout the evening as we cover the comings and goings, the twists and turns of this G7 summit. But now, back to Belle for more of the day's news.
Thanks, Jonathan. Yes, away from the G7 and Cornwall, the British Medical Association, which represents doctors, has called for a delay to the easing of lockdown restrictions on June the 21st. That's in the wake of a rising number of COVID infections. There are over 8,000 new cases today. It comes as new data from Public Health England suggests the Delta variant, now that's the variant that was first identified in India, is 64% more transmissible within the household than the Kent or Alpha variant. Cases of that Delta variant have trebled in a week. Well, meanwhile, England's R number, that's the rate at which COVID-19 is estimated to be spreading, has jumped to between 1.2 and 1.4. It's the first time the upper estimate has been that high since January, and it means that every 10 people with COVID-19 will pass it to between 12 and 14 people. Sky's health correspondent Ashish Joshi reports.
A festival of summer sports kicks off tonight with the Euros, and the country is ready to celebrate. Hopes are high. Every day brings us closer to Freedom Day, when all restrictions will be lifted. But that target date of 21st of June is at risk. The Delta variant is driving a surge in infections.
The hospitality industry's bounced back incredibly well. It's been hard, it's been tough, but I think people want to eat, people want to drink, and they definitely want to watch football. We just want to make sure when we do open that it will stay that way and not have to close again, because it's the opening and the closing that is destructive for the industry.
The number of Delta variant cases has increased from 12,431 to 42,323 in just a week. That's an increase of 243%. The Delta variant, first identified in India, was found in the UK in March. It now accounts for 96% of cases. Public Health England estimates that it's 64% more transmissible within households than previous variants. And vaccines are on average between 15 to 20% less effective against this strain of COVID after the first dose compared to the Alpha variant.
I think it would be gravely negligent for the government to move ahead with removing restrictions on the 21st June, given the data now and what we've known for several weeks.
Scientists like Dipti Gurdasani have been joined by the BMA and NHS leaders in calling on the government to delay lifting restrictions. They say hospitalisation rates in the northwest, up by 66%, are a stark warning.
You're not just talking about delaying Freedom Day on the 21st of June, but you're calling for more urgent interventions now.
We are seeing exponential growth of cases very rapidly. The current R is around 1.3, and in some places it's 1.5. And we're seeing rapid growth in cases and hospitalizations, particularly in the Northwest. So unless we do something to curb spread now, we're still heading towards a large number of hospitalizations, potentially overwhelming the NHS, and large numbers of cases for long COVID.
The government is facing pressure, not just from businesses, but a public keen to see life return to normal.
A lot of the older people is going into hospitals is the main reason why we went to lockdown in the first place. So if a lot of those people have been both vaccinations, then it shouldn't be that bad.
I think they should just go along with it.